Elected Beaten Up of the Year by the Brawler's Alley magazine in 2022, Dawn of the Monster is, without any doubt, a monster of a game. Not only it brought awesome and innovative combat to the genre, but it also presented us with a great story, charming characters, and an excellent roster of enemies. Now, Dawn of the Monster is back with a fantastic DLC that will change how you play the game, but before I forget, hi, I am Savino, and this is The Flying Kick. Released last year for all consoles and Steam, developed by the awesome guys at 13am Games and published by the house of Kyoko and Misako Way Forward, Dawn of the Monster is a game that I will not pretend I'm not a huge fan of. The great selection of characters, the awesome story, the awesome roster of enemies, the tense soundtrack, everything in this game screamed Game of the Year since release day. Not only that, the theme of the game itself was brand new and unique to the genre. Yes, I know King of the Monster was a thing, but it was more a wrestling game than a beaten up, we must agree here. Even the second one, so much that they teach the beaten up section on the Mega Drive. Crossing towns and landscapes with 40 meters tall monstrosities while you break and destroy everything and everyone in your path was a unique experience. But while the game was great and, in all honesty, the best from last year, it was far from perfect because there were a few things missing. The lack of endgame content was one of them. Beating down was a blast, but after that you had nothing to do other than repeat the levels all over again with your overpowered character. I mean, while it's fun, there is not really a challenge in it. The lack of an arcade mode was also something that I personally know made some people avoid the game, and the biggest flaw of them all, the lack of a Super Sentai character, of course. But this is all a thing from the past now, since 13am is preparing this huge DLC that brings these missing features and adds even more content to the game. And what's coming in the DLC? I'm glad you asked. First, you should be aware that this DLC comes in two parts, a free one and a paid one. The free bit of this DLC is surprisingly good, so even if you're low on cash, you will have plenty of reasons to fire up the game again. The first thing in this update that will change the game for the better is the new Japanese dub. Don't take me wrong, the original voice actors are awesome and they really brought life to each and every character, but the new Japanese voice makes the game's tokusatsu vibe way more authentic. The update also brings 8 new skins to each one of the current characters, so that way you can spend some of that cash you have been accumulating in the past months, but if looking good is not enough for you, the game also brings the much needed Story Mode Plus, where you keep all your upgrades from your previous run and try to beat the game again, but with harder enemies and challenges. But if you think you are some sort of kaiju king that can tame each and every monster that crosses your path, you can try your luck in the New Game Plus. Or maybe in the New Game Plus Plus, or who knows, in the New Game Plus Plus Plus. Yeah, I guess you got it by now. The developers added a bunch of gameplay modes that increasingly rise the challenge, making it really hard in the later difficulties. Take a look at how many hits I need to be killed by the first enemy of the game in the hardest difficulty. Yeah, I need a lot of training. But maybe you're not into becoming kaiju food and want something more manageable, or even something that can improve your skill to tackle the challenge. Well, I'm happy to inform you that the guys at 13am got you covered with the all-new Trials and Challenge mode that will test your skills in the most diverse scenarios you can imagine. As with the story level, after each trial you'll be graded with a score and you'll get some money and the usual upgrades. This can be a pretty good way to farm some of the best upgrades around that I will not discuss it in this video, because it's not the point, but I can make a video about the best builds for each character if you guys want to. These trials are honestly one of the best parts of this update, and I'm counting the paid one that we will look in a moment. Not only they are fun and very useful to improve your skills, but they provide a change of pace in the game. Yes, you will be still beating kaijus here, but in ways you won't find anywhere else in this game, like playing a deadly dodgeball with them or maybe facing hordes of tiny little monsters. Considering everything listed above is free, there's no denying this is a pretty hefty update with tons of new stuffs and challenges to take. Honestly, if this was all the update had to offer, I would be happy with it. But this is not all. There's also the paid update that will come on the same day as the free one. In this paid update you will get the new playable character Meteor Temujin, a Super Sentai that carries a huge sword that will change a lot the way you face the game, but we will get there in a moment. This paid update also comes with some things the fans have been requesting for a while, the much needed arcade mode. You have 12 levels to beat, no continues, and can earn extra lives reaching predetermined scores. But here things are a little bit different. In Dawn of the Monsters, upgrades or modifiers as they are called play a big part in how you play the game, and obviously they couldn't be ignored in this mode. And thanks to the upgrades we will get 2 different ways to play the arcade mode. And before you start to get worried, I checked. Each mode has its own leaderboard. In the first mode you will be able to choose one upgrade from a pool of 3 every time you beat a level. These upgrades will always be fixed, so after learning which they are, you can plan ahead your run or even try new combinations to see if you can improve your score. This is not only a clever solution, but also a fun addition to the arcade mode. As I said, you can try different builds, knowing what's expected of you ahead and comparing it with your previous run until you find that perfect build for your favorite character. The other mode, called Rogue, works basically the same, 12 levels, the same levels actually, no continues and so on. The difference here is that now the upgrades are completely randomized. There's no way to know what's coming for you next. This, contrary to the normal mode, leaves you always in suspense every time you finish a level, because you can get that upgrade you wanted, but also you can get to choose 3 modifiers that really do not suit your playstyle. It's a fun way to play with your expectations and also a nice way to change the arcade mode after you already put your name in the first place in the normal mode. Now let's talk about the brand new character that's coming to the game and, in case you don't know, was chosen by popular vote in a public poll created by 13am a few months back. There were other 2 awesome characters to choose from, and I really hope you can see them in the future on a new DLC or, honestly, in Dawn of the Monsters 2. Meteor Temujin, as I previously mentioned, is a Super Sentai character that uses his sword as his main form of attack, or at least that's what it looks like at first. He plays exactly like the other characters, with a quick attack, strong attack, dash attack, block and a dodge. His attacks are fast and he moves quickly across the screen, but you may notice that he may not feel as quick as Aegis or strong as Megadon. Actually, he is not as even strong as Ganira and can lose a race for Tempest pretty easily. But yet, he feels pretty maneuverable for its size and can give some damage with his sword. When hitting block and quick attack, he will light up his sword on fire and cross the screen, lighting the floor blazing in his wake. The enemies he touched will get a small explosive token that will detonate after some time, pushing the enemies upwards. And here is where things start to get interesting. If you press block and strong attack, your sword will become an axe that Meteor will throw at his enemies, piercing each and every one and giving them a considerable amount of damage. After that, your sword will become the axe permanently, and now your character can be as fast as Aegis when hitting enemies. That's something that really impressed me in this character. You not only have your special move like the others, but each one changes the way you play with the character for good. The axe makes Temujin more agile with his hits, while weaker than the sword can deal a lot of damage after some time, and he can even throw enemies in the air while piercing them with the axe. It's almost like a stance character in fighting games. Finally, if you press block and dash, the sword, or X, will become a powerful hammer that makes Meteor one of the strongest characters in the game. This hammer is absurdly strong, capable of stunning easily even the bigger monsters. In his special form, he jumps with the hammer, throwing anyone close by into the air and landing with extreme might on the floor, crushing anything in sight. He will move slower with the hammer, but the amount of damage this does will make up for any slowness you might find on him. Also, it's important to add that every one of its special consumes 2 bars of rage, so with your bars all full, you can unleash all 3 specials one after another, pulverizing any enemy unlucky enough to share the screen with you. It's extremely fun because one special can easily link to another, creating the most colorful and explosive chaos you will ever see. Another thing interesting here is that each time you change your weapon, Meteor gets a bit more strong, so you are encouraged to change weapons back and forth to grow the strength of your character while beating the living heck of your enemies. Oh, and I almost forgot to mention, and this is pretty important, his Cataclysm attack will always change your current weapon into an energy sword that can shoot energy blast across the whole screen. But be extremely cautious while using it because it works as a regular weapon. Your damage output is tied to your basic combo animation and you can be knocked down while using it, making you lose a lot of the little time you have with it. And while you can deal a lot of damage, you must use it with caution and never as a way to escape a barrage of attacks because this was not designed to be a defensive move. Dawn of the Monsters' new content is simply amazing. The free DLC alone is very good with the increased challenge on the Story Plus mode and the many Game Plus modes? Game Pluses? Jeez, English is hard. Not to mention the trials and challenges that honestly are not something that I want to see in every beat'em up. Some of them are easy to do, but some will probably cause some controllers to fly around. The paid DLC is a bargain. The arcade mode itself is enough to justify the purchase, and the new playable character is the cherry on top, and a heck of a big cherry this is. For $6.99, I wouldn't think twice before getting it, and I will because while I get the DLC for PC, I'm buying it for my Switch as soon as it releases. And talking about release, I have some good news for you. The DLC will be available for Nintendo Switch US region only on August 24th. All other consoles and regions will get the DLC on August 28th. Again, so on August 24th, US Switch owners will get the free update automatically and will be able to purchase the paid DLC on the Nintendo shop. Switch Europe, PlayStation, Xbox will get the same treatment on the 28th. The paid DLC will cost you $699 and I think it's worth every penny. And if you don't have this game yet, I don't know what to tell you except this was the game of the year last year and it's available right now for Steam, Xbox, PlayStation and Nintendo Switch and will cost you $29.99 or your original equivalent. And that's it for the review, guys. I really hope this video got you excited for this DLC because you really should be. I will bring a lot of Dawn of the Monsters content in the coming days and tell me in the comments what you'd like to see. Don't forget to leave a like, subscribe to the channel and thank you so much for watching. Other than that, I hope you all have an awesome day. Remember, keep it up.